Good morning, students. Once again, I welcome you to the next online class on the new topic, equipotential surfaces. So far, we have discussed about charges at rest, electric field, potential difference, potential energy, and change in potential energy. Today, we'll devote some time to discuss equipotential surfaces, then a relation between electric field and potential, and we shall see some questions based on them. As this name suggests, equipotential surface, that name itself reflects its definition. Such a surface at each point of which potential is same. So what is an equipotential surface? Its definition will be a surface at each point of which potential V is constant. All points on the surface, if it has same value of potential, then we shall call it to be an equipotential surface. Suppose we have a point charge Q. Now this formula for potential due to a point charge, you know students, it is given by the formula V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught times Q upon R, where R is the distance of a point from that particular point charge. If this is a point charge Q in space, don't think it on a plane, think about this point charge in space, then its value of potential at some distance r from it. Now we can choose distance r over here, this point, this point, this point, this point. All points which are at same distance from this point charge will form a sphere in three-dimensional space and a circle in 2D space. So since I am talking about three-dimensional space, locus of such points which are at same distance from this charge will be a sphere, like so. Each point on this sphere will be at same distance, that is r. Therefore I can say all the points on this particular spherical surface, think of it as a sphere, all points on this particular spherical surface will have same value of potential equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon radius of this particular sphere. That's why this is an example of equipotential surface. So for a point charge, the nature of equipotential surface is a sphere. Now we can draw different equipotential surfaces. For example, one equipotential surface we have considered over here. If I choose a point over here, then all those points which are at this particular distance will form a smaller sphere. Likewise, we can form a still bigger sphere, like so. All these spherical surfaces are equipotential surfaces due to this point charge. If you remember, so that you can conclude, for a point charge, equipotential surfaces are concentric spherical surfaces with that charge Q at its center. All those spheres at their centers, they should have that particular charge. Such a sphere will be an equipotential surface. If you remember students, we have learned how to draw electric field lines due to a point charge. It will be like so. It will point radially outward if this charge is positive and inward if this charge is negative. So these spherical surfaces I have discussed, they are equipotential surfaces, and this represents the direction of electric field. So these are electric field lines. Now what do you observe? We observe that in this particular case, at any point, if you see the direction of electric field. For example, here the direction of electric field is like so. And if you see the surface of the potential, equipotential surface, this is like so. Are they perpendicular to each other? Yes. Here you see, this is the equipotential surface, this is the direction of electric field. Here you see, this is the equipotential surface, this is the direction of electric field. So one important conclusion for this particular arrangement of charge is that equipotential surface or electric field, both of them are perpendicular to each other. Electric field always points perpendicular to an equipotential surface. This is very important, students. Let's see another example of equipotential surfaces in a region of uniform electric field. Now, uniform electric field, how do we represent, students? It is represented by a set of equally spaced parallel lines. If these be the electric field lines, we have to draw equipotential surfaces. Just now we have discussed, students, electric field lines are always normal. They always have a direction normal to an equipotential surface. So here we have the direction of electric field. So the planes of equipotential surfaces must be drawn in such an orientation such that electric field is normal to those planes. Now these electric field vectors are drawn in that particular direction. So can I draw a plane like this, students? Of course no, because this electric field has to be normal to this particular plane. So the only possible orientation for the equipotential surface should be like this, like so. Is it clear, students? Electric field lines must be perpendicular to the normal, like this. Electric field is perpendicular to the or normal to the equipotential surface. So the equipotential surfaces will be drawn something like this. This is one equipotential surface. Likewise, this is other equipotential surface. You can draw a set of many equipotential surfaces like so. So these electric field lines are originating perpendicular to these equipotential surfaces. So these are the equipotential surfaces due to some charge configuration because of which the electric field in the region is uniform. So this is our second example. Third example that we shall take it up are the equipotential surfaces due to a dipole. Dipole, if you remember, we have discussed earlier. So it's basically a set of two charges plus q and minus q separated by small distance. Now if you have two such charges, the electric field lines, if you remember, students, we have drawn earlier, they were like this. Electric field lines originate from positive charge and it terminates at negative charge. Originates at positive charge, so this would be plus q, this would be minus q. So these are the electric field lines. Some of the electric field lines due to an electric dipole. Now if you wish to draw the equipotential surface, just I am giving some hint, that equipotential surface will be not as simple as this, because this electric field is neither uniform nor it is spherically symmetric. But one thing is for sure, that the equipotential surface must be at right angles at normal to these electric field lines. So at this particular point, equipotential surface must be something like this. Here it must be something like this. Here it should be something like this. Always at right angles to the electric field lines. This gives you the hint that if you have minus q charge and plus q charge, that is electric dipole, then the equipotential surfaces due to them will be something like this. You can draw some more such surfaces. Likewise, for a pair of positive charges, plus q and plus q, if you have pair of positive charges, the equipotential surfaces will be something like this. Now this is a surface, and don't think it to be in 2 dimensions, it will be in 3 dimensions. This is the point charge, this is the point charge. We can draw surfaces like so. Such arrangements are also given in your textbook, students. They are important for your exams also. So please practice them. At this particular point, midpoint of this dipole, if I ask you what is the value of potential, what will be your answer? Yes, it has to be 0. Why 0? This is a negative charge, this is a positive charge. They will have values of potential which will be opposite in sign. It will be 0. Is there any other point where the potential will be 0? Yes, if you join this particular line joining the two charges, and draw its perpendicular bisector, at all these points will have potential is equal to 0. Why? Because all these points are equidistant from these particular charges. So whatever potential this negative charge will have, it will have identical potential but of opposite sign. So it will have positive potential, this will have negative potential at all these points. Values will be same, that's why they will cancel each other. Is this the only line? Now if you see in space, there are 2 point charges. This is one perpendicular bisector. Likewise, you can draw many perpendicular bisectors, infinitely many perpendicular bisectors. So the plane passing through all these perpendicular bisectors that we call as equatorial plane. If you have an equatorial plane, that is the plane will look like this. If we have these 2 charges minus q and plus q like this, the equatorial plane will be passing through the midpoint and will be like so. It will be perpendicular to the line joining the 2 charges. On that plane, if you choose any point here, 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 anywhere, the potential will be 0. So this is also an equipotential surface. This is the only equipotential surface due to a dipole which has shape in the form of plane. Other shapes are not plane, they are curved surfaces. So this is about equipotential surfaces, students. Let me summarize what you have to remember in this particular thing. So equipotential surfaces, first their definition. The definition is the name itself. This itself is its definition. The important thing that you have to remember is that in any region, the electric field vectors, they are normal to equipotential surface in that particular region. This is important, so commit to memory. You will never have any situation wherein electric field is not normal to the equipotential surface. We will come to those properties of equipotential surface afterwards, but you can, if this question is asked, why electric field is always normal to equipotential surface, what answer you should write? See, this can be answered on the basis of contradiction. Suppose there is some equipotential surface like so. So this is an equipotential surface. If it is equipotential surface, then by definition all the points on this must have same potential. All points will have same value of potential. If potential is same at all points, the potential difference between any 2 points on this particular equipotential surface must be 0. That is for sure as per the definition for equipotential surfaces. The electric normal to this equipotential surface is this direction. Electric field must be in that direction. If possible, suppose electric field is not normal. If electric field is not normal, it will make some angle to the normal like so. Then this electric field can be resolved into 2 components. If this angle be theta, this will be E cos theta, and there will be component E sin theta. So if electric field be not normal, then it will have two components. This component E cos theta is the normal component. This component is normal to the equipotential surface, and it has another component that is tangential to the equipotential surface. That means that is along the surface. So then it has a component, it has a tangential component. Tangential component. Now if there is tangential component of electric field, then you know, since E is equal to that tangential component, you can name it as something, suppose ET, and this I'll call it as EN. N for normal and T for tangential. If this be the case, then we know, students, ET, the tangential component, will be equal to, will result in some potential difference, because you know dV is equal to minus E dot dr. This is potential difference. We have studied earlier, potential difference between 2 points is given by this particular definition. If there is tangential component, this is ET, there will be some potential difference which will not be equal to 0, and this contradicts our definition for equipotential surface, that difference in the potential at any 2 points on equipotential surface will be 0. If there is an electric field which is not normal, it will have a tangential component, and if there is electric field along the tangent to the equipotential surface, potential difference will not be 0. Potential difference, if it is not 0, that means you have to do some work. External agent has to do some work in bringing one charge from one point to the other. So W external is not equal to 0. What is W external? It is the work done in bringing charge Q from one point to the other, that is understood. So it's for this reason that the electric field is normal. You can give the reason in another fashion also. What you can write? If there be any equipotential surface, any 2 points on the equipotential surface must be having same potential. That means potential difference must be 0. If potential difference is 0, electric field along the tangent must be 0. There cannot be any component of electric field along the equipotential surface. This is possible only if the electric field is normal to this particular equipotential surface. So this answer you can write for this particular question. Next we would like to discuss relationship between electric field and potential. If you remember, students, this we have discussed earlier also, that potential difference between 2 points, which we write as delta V, this is given as minus integral E dot dr from one point to the other, from initial point say A to final point B. This delta V was how much? Final potential minus initial potential. The same thing I can write like so in differential form. dV is equal to, dV is a very small change in V. This was considerable change in potential. This is very small change in V. This will be minus E dot dr. This is the relationship between potential and electric field in a particular region. But we would like to devote some time on this particular relation. We shall try to understand the hidden information within this particular equation. This equation we can write like this. This is minus E times dr times cos theta, where theta is the angle between these two vectors, E vector and dr vector. Suppose there is some point. At that point electric field is like so. This is the direction of electric field. Any point. Electric field to any charge configuration. Now at this point, suppose I move by a very small displacement, say dr vector, at some direction. So this is dr vector, and this angle is how much? Theta. Then when I move from one point to the other by an amount dr vector, the potential will change. That change in potential is given by this particular formula. The change in potential is how much? dV, and it is equal to how much? Minus E vector dot dr vector, that is equal to this much. Now theta is the angle between E and dr. Very important point. If theta happens to be acute, please remember what is theta? Theta is the direction of displacement vector dr vector relative to E vector. If theta is acute, then cos theta is positive. Therefore, dv will become negative. dv is negative of E dr cos theta. If theta is acute, cos theta will be positive, and that's why this term will be negative. What is the meaning of this? dv is negative means potential will decrease. dv is change in potential. When is change negative? When that parameter will decrease in its value. Likewise, if theta be obtuse, for example, suppose electric field is in this direction and I prefer to move in this particular direction, like so. So this is dr vector. So this angle is greater than 90 degree. If theta is obtuse, in this particular case, dv, cos theta becomes negative. The negative and negative, it becomes positive. So dv becomes positive. This implies potential increases. Please grasp this particular thing. If in any region there is some electric field in some particular direction, suppose electric field is like this, and you move in a region, in that region if you move in a direction making some acute angle to that electric field, then potential will decrease. And if you make obtuse angle, that potential will increase. Is it clear, students? Let's go one step further. Potential will decrease if you move in a direction that makes acute angle with electric field. If I ask, in what direction should you move so that this decrease in potential is maximum? That means it decreases at maximum rate. What I wish to ask, in which direction one should move such that the decrease in potential is maximum. So see, the change in potential we have discussed, it is given by the formula minus E times dr times cos theta. One thing is for sure, it must be an acute angle because you want the potential to decrease. Now this potential decrease will be maximum when this cos theta will be how much? Maximum. When is cos theta maximum? When its value is 1. When is its value 1? When theta is how much? 0 degree. What is theta? Theta is the angle between E vector and dr vector. So how will you move in that condition? Suppose this is the direction of electric field. You have to move in such a direction such that the direction makes 0 degree angle with electric field. So your dr vector should be along E vector. If you are standing at this point, you should move in the direction of electric field. In this particular case, theta becomes 0, cos theta becomes 1, and dv becomes most negative or maximum. I can write minus dv becomes maximum. What is minus dv? See, dv is change in potential, minus dv is decrease in potential. So answer to this question is that decrease in potential will be maximum if one moves in which direction? Along the direction of electric field. Is this clear, students? So this statement is very, very important. It gives you an idea regarding the direction of electric field. So electric field points in that particular direction where the potential drops or decreases at maximum rate. Suppose there is a region of electric field, there is a region of some potential. You are standing in this particular location in space, and imagine this is not a 2D world, it is in 3-dimensional space. Now from this point you have to move, you can move, you are free to move in different directions. So you start moving, and while moving you record the decrease or increase in potential. That means you record the change in potential. You have some instrument suppose and you are recording the change in potential. You move in this direction, then after some time you move in this particular direction, then you move in this particular direction, then here, here, here. Of all the possible directions along which you have moved, there will be one particular direction, say this one, along which you will find that on moving in this direction, the drop, the decrease, the reduction in potential is maximum. In this direction, its potential drops by maximum amount, then you can infer from this that this line must be the direction of, or this curve must be the direction of electric field. So very important statement, students. What you should understand, that electric field points along the direction of, along that direction where potential decreases steepest. Steepest means at the maximum rate potential decreases. So this is the concept of the relation between electric field and potential, students. One modification also you can do for that particular relation between them. So we have written the differential form like so, dV is equal to how much? Minus E vector dot dr vector. So this we have written as minus E dr times cos theta. Now what is theta here? Here we have discussed theta is the angle between E vector and dr vector. Figure, let me draw it again. Suppose this is the point, this is the direction of electric field, and this is the direction of displacement vector, and this is the angle between them, theta. Now this dr vector can be resolved into two components. I can resolve it like so. There will be one component in the direction of electric field and there will be one component perpendicular to direction of electric field. This component will be dr cos theta and this will be dr sin theta. This is dr perpendicular and this I will call as dr parallel. What is the meaning of that? Dr perpendicular is the component of displacement vector perpendicular to the direction of electric field, and dr parallel is the component of displacement vector parallel to the direction of electric field. With this particular definition, we can write the value of E like so. So we can write from here E is equal to minus of dV upon dr cos theta. What is dr cos theta? Dr cos theta is nothing but dr parallel. So this is the relationship between electric field and potential. And let me cite it again, that what is dr parallel? Dr parallel is the component of displacement vector parallel to E vector. That means this one. If you wish, you can name it as something else. So dr parallel, if you write it as dl, then you can write this expression as E is equal to minus dV upon dl, where dl and dr parallel mean the same thing. But I would like you to prefer remembering this particular formula because it will remind you that we have to move in a direction parallel to the direction of electric field. Then, so what does this mean physically? Physically, what it means, that if this is the direction of electric field, then if we move by a small amount dr parallel in the direction of electric field, so in the direction of electric field I move from here to here by how much? Dr parallel. Then these 2 points will have a difference in potential. Potential here, if it is V, then here the potential will be less, because I have discussed electric field is in that direction where potential decreases at maximum rate. So here the potential will be V minus dV. So what is the decrease in potential? dV. Then dV, E and dr parallel are related using this particular relation. E is equal to minus dV upon dr parallel. This is the relation between electric field and potential. Next topic that I would like to discuss is the potential energy of some charge in external field. When I say field, I mean electric field. Students, we have already seen if there is electric field in a region, then that electric field is related to a scalar quantity which we call as potential. And these two are related. The relation is this one, that potential at a point is given as minus integration E dot dr from reference point to that particular point. So if you know V, you can calculate E. If you know E, you can calculate V. They are interrelated. If in external field there is some, we don't know where are the charges, but we know that in this particular region of space there is some value of electric field. It has some value, some direction. If it has some value of electric field, it might have some value of potential. Let the value of potential be V. At this point, whose position vector in our frame of reference is, say, R. This is R vector. This is our origin. So we have chosen a point. At that point, V is the potential, E is the electric field. At that point, we put a charge Q. If we put a charge Q, then that means we are bringing that charge Q from infinity to this particular point. So its potential energy will become equal to Q into that potential, that is V. So this potential energy, we will denote it as U. This is the potential energy of this particular charge that will have a value equal to that particular charge multiplied by potential at that point. If you remember, students, potential energy I have told that is equal to W external, and W external is nothing but charge into potential difference. So potential difference is final potential minus initial potential. We assume that initially this was at infinity, so this will be V infinity. And I have discussed earlier that potential at infinity is taken as 0. Therefore, the potential energy becomes how much? Q times potential at that particular point. So always remember, if you are placing a charge Q at some location where already there is some potential V, then its potential energy becomes how much? Charge multiplied by that potential value. This is for one charge. Suppose instead of one, I have two charges. One charge is Q1, other charge is Q2, and they are located at points whose position vectors are R1 vector and R2 vector, like so. And the separation between them is, suppose, R12. In this case, what will be the potential energy? Now see, the potential energy for a pair of charges, you already know the formula, students. That is how much? For a pair of charges, the potential energy is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught times the product of charges Q1, Q2 divided by separation between them. This will be the answer if prior to bringing Q1 and Q2 there is no field in that region, there is no potential in that region. But just now we discussed, at this point there is some potential, there is some electric field. Let that value of potential be V at R1. Here the value of potential is, suppose, V at R2. Then apart from this potential energy term, there will be some potential energy terms due to the external field also. External field means the field which was present prior to bringing these charges Q1 and Q2. So how much will be the potential energy remaining terms? That will be Q1 times potential at its location, that is VR1, and Q2 times potential at its location, that is VR2. So this is the total potential energy term, students, in external field. I will stop here. Look for the assignments. If they are given, please try to do them. I thank you. Please revise these contents properly before attending the next class.